I had my recording of the Son of Man and the Son of God all ready to go, but unfortunately I accidentally deleted it. So I will try to fit it in with other posts that I make. To begin, let us have a closer look again at Genesis, when Elohim created male and female. And we shall have a closer look at the fabled Garden of Eden. You will notice that the spirits of male and female were instructed on what they needed to do. For instance, to go and replenish the earth, to multiply and become many. When they were being told this, they were still in the realm of the spirit. They had not yet descended in the world of form. The world of form was ready and waiting for their incarnation. Now I quote mainly from Old and New Testament scriptures. This is mainly because we come under Christian umbrella, but make sure there are older versions than these scriptures. It is alleged that the Old Testament is around 5,000 years old. Now, I have long stipulated that the Old Testament writings was manipulated during the Babylonian Jewish captivity in Babylonia. Many researchers today have reached the same conclusions. Now, it is generally accepted that most of the Old Testament was put into writing by Moses after the exile from Egypt and by that dwelled in the wilderness. These writings suggest that Moses was a high prince of Egypt, and the Ethiopians go even further by saying he was a king, a pharaoh of Egypt. This means that he was highly educated in the Egyptian wisdom. This wisdom is certainly not evidenced within these old scriptures. Now, being a highly educated pharaoh or prince of Egypt, I can only assume that if his writings are correct, his historical events are correct, then I can only assume that he must have drank too much Russian vodka under a cool tree while he was out there putting his work into pen and paper. Now, we can also hypothesize that when the kingdom of Israel was invaded and the people scattered, becoming the lost tribes of Israel, there only remained the kingdom of Judah, also mixed with the children of Benjamin. Now, when the kingdom of Judah was taken into Babylonian captivity 100 years after the fall of the kingdom of Israel, they had 70 years to formulate their religious beliefs and historical accounts. All in all, they had 170 years to manipulate their historical accounts. damn rain when I'm trying to do a recording. I can also quote from the ancient Hindu wisdom, mainly the Bhagavad Gita, which is much older than the Old Testament. It is an ancient book narrated by the Lord Krishna. It fell into my hands not long after the priest brought me my brand new leather-bound King's Version of the Bible. So I had to put down my Donald Duck comics and flip through a few pages of the Holy Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. And in the later, the scriptures are not said in parables, but straight out. Every scripture was interpreted by Swami Yakanaka Pakanaka Hakanyaka Yaka, but I did not follow the Swami's interpretation, but relied on my secret self to interpret them for me. I have my own ideas of why these two books were brought to me, because I have reached a conclusion that the Lord Krishna of the Bhagavad Gita is the same as Jesus Christ of the New Testament. The one and the same Spirit, or as I say, Spirit line. I was always a believer in the UFO phenomena, like millions of others. I just had a basic belief with no real interest, just like millions of others. But when I make contact with you, that is a different story, and you scratch your head, and the interest becomes more than just an interest. I had no choice. It became definite fact. You have to look beyond the intoxicated state of vodka that Moses was experiencing when he was talking about the Garden of Eden. Just what was he trying to say? About 30 years ago, while I was going through a spiritual and mystical initiation, my secret self suddenly shot out of its physical constraints of the physical body and flew out into the outer regions of the cosmic. I ended up going to the belt of the Orion. I knew where I was going because I was flying past the Horsehead Nebula, which lies within that same region. There are 3 major stars that make up the belt of the Orion, and it is the center star of that belt where I was going to. And now it has been hypothesized by many experts that the Giza Plateau, or the pyramids, are a star map of this region, mainly the belt of Orion. To the naked eye, the center star looks no different than the other 2 stars that make up the belt. But were you to focus a telescope, at least a 4-inch telescope, you will see that the center star is not a star, but a nebula we call the Crab Nebula. It is another universe unto its own. This is what the Great Pyramid is supposed to represent. There is a shaft, I believe it is in the Queen's chamber, that points directly at the center star. Now it is well hypothesized that the three stars of the Pyramid of Giza were constructed within the old world, and they were not built by the Egyptians, who simply inherited the three main pyramids there. But they did not know what they were for or what to do with them. So that region was mainly under sand. It was a desolate area. Now, the settlement near the pyramid, what I call Waltersburg, and rightfully so, are of the New World, after the flood period. I have copyright on that settlement because I saw it 10 years before the archaeologists discovered it. So it's called Waltersburg.